Welcome to Pavullo for the finale of the Sailplane Grand Prix Finale Series 11. Yesterday we had a great opening ceremony, but today the weather is not so good. Let's see with Brian, competition director. Brian, could you tell us a bit more about today?
Morning, Claire. Yeah, it's going to be a tough day. It's the first competition day. Everybody's tense. Everybody knows it's the real thing now. No more practice days. The pilots are ready. But we have a cloudy day. And we have approaching bad weather. So we are hoping that we have enough thermals up to about 2,000 meters to make a short task. We set a task 150 kilometers out to the northwest over the low hills. And if we're lucky, we can make this task. Yeah? If we're unlucky, maybe we don't do it. But we're keeping our fingers crossed for the weather. The pilots are keen, we are keen, everybody ready to go.
Thank you, Brian. It was Brian, competition director.
And welcome to the studio of this 11th Sailplane Grand Prix Final. We are in Pavullo, Italy. As you just checked with Brian and Claire this morning, just after the briefing, she made this interview, and we had some doubts about the day, and with a tricky weather. So this is one of the issues we have today to deal with, and to make the best what we can do. So every day we will meet. You will meet with me, and with us. I will not be alone. Around the same time, around 2:30, 2:20 in the afternoon, and we will prepare with you the task of the day and to show the key points and what the pilots have to perform for the day. So this is the Grand Prix, and. But first, the gliders are on the grid, and we can go back to Claire. She had some talks with some pilots on the grid. So let's go for a grid walk, please.
Welcome to the grid. The day just been cancelled. Pilots are slowly getting ready for their gliders to bring back to the trailer. I will still try to interview some about their first day here. Luca? Hi. It's your first final?
Yes.
First time here.
Yes.
What expectation do you have for this competition?
Primarily, I expect to have fun and try to get into the mood of Grand Prix. As you said, I haven't flown finals yet, so I'm trying to learn how people do it, what are the tactics, and learn the area. It seems to be very interesting. Less than ideal in terms of places to land, but there are some. So I'm trying to manage my safety margin so far, and as I have been doing for the last few days. So yeah, that's my goal here.
Yes, you are flying pretty low at training. But you were using the landable airfield database?
Yes, I've been keeping my margin to glide to at least 2 places all the time. There were sometimes 3, so I felt kind of safe, even though I was low at above the terrain. Then in the next valley, I was about an altitude of this airfield. but still, I felt quite safe that even if my engine doesn't light off, then I would have still at least 2 options to select for landing. So yeah, that was.
Okay, so we will see you tomorrow on the grid.
Definitely.
And tomorrow or the day after, according to the weather. Do we have other pilots? Max? Just here. Come back, Max. So the day is cancelled.
Yes.
How do you already won a final?
Yes. Long time ago.
Yes. Do you think you can do it again?
I hope so, but I think everybody wants to win here, and I'm not sure I have the best chances. I have no idea. I'll obviously the goal is to win and or do as on mic, or at least do as good as I can. But it's a difficult area. We might have difficult weather in the next days, and there are some very, very good pilots. So we'll see.
We will follow you and see how you can. You just want Ventus 3 that you did not fly it before. How do you feel about it?
Ventus is it's Ventus. It's easy. I adjusted, I think, so far 4 flights in it, and yeah, it goes well. It flies very well, and especially in the thermals, broken thermals. It's very nice on the ridges, and I will see by the end of the week. But I tend to think it's not the worst glider for this week, definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
And maybe we have not so many other pilots, so I think we'll go back to the studio and see you next flying day.
And we are back. Thank you, Claire, for this report from the grid. And you just heard that the competition director had to cancel the day, and Brian is here. And just first question, Brian, I felt a bit of stress this morning. What was coming out?
Well, we had a very difficult weather situation this morning. And, you know, there are a number of things that can affect whether we race or not. And they were all happening this morning.
Perfect day.
It was not clear whether we fly or we don't fly. And we expected it to be a late decision, but we had to wait right until the last moment before we decided not to fly.
I know that it's one of the most perhaps difficult situation when you know that it will be difficult to set a day. But I can see that you are making it step by step, and you keep the structure of a day up to one point where you have to cancel. So how it works for that?
There's a sort of logical sequence. It's running a championship like this is like a big machine, and it starts to roll, and you start to roll, and each stage has to be completed before you can move to the next stage. But if you miss a stage, you cannot carry on.
Yeah.
So you have to get everything ready, and then you know that you come to a decision point. The first stage is you are able to predict this, and then you come to the decision point. Now the decision is not made by us, it's made by the weather. So now we have to have interpret what the weather's doing. We have to decide how we can handle this problem. And today we had 2 problems. One is that there was a frontal system approaching from the northwest, and the difficulty for us was how quickly it would approach. And before the frontal system is a big overhang of cloud, and we were underneath the overhang of the cloud, which meant that we had no sun on the ground.
No solar power.
No solar power, which meant it was going to be late to launch. Now, being late to launch is not such a problem, but it puts us nearer to the time the rain arrives.
Small window.
So we narrow the gap. Then it was really, we didn't expect this morning, because they said, first thing, that we have a meteo man and we have the airfield people, and they said, no problem to launch on this runway, so everything is prepared. But then the wind came from the other direction. Yeah?
I never saw any start from this direction.
So the wind,
time ever.
That's right. So we had a bit of fun. We had everybody move to the other end. We had to completely change the grid.
Oh, yeah.
And you can imagine how much fun that is. And we were ready to go. Stefano went flying to see the weather, and he said, no way.
No way.
No way. Look, we have a high cloud from the northwest. We have rain to arrive this afternoon later on. The south area, we have sunshine, we have some cumulus, but we have a strong wind, 20 knots of wind. It's in the lee side, on the downwind side of the mountains, so it's very turbulent. So now we have another problem. If we fly in this area, we create an unsafe situation, because the competitors will try to make their flight in a situation where if they get low, it could be very difficult.
So wrong time, wrong place for today.
Yeah, so each one of these items stacked up against us, in the end, it was easy to make the decision. Yeah? Okay, let's cancel.
Let's cancel.
Let's cancel because it's not safe to fly, it's too late to fly, everything is against us. It's obvious we should not fly today. And I think the competitors are happy because they were looking at the sky and thinking, ooh la la, do we really want to fly in this? Yeah. And so they're happy with that.
Okay. What's coming next? After this afternoon, you think that some pilots are flying? I saw that on the tracking system.
Yeah, well, I think some people are trying out each other's gliders, and they're having a little bit of fun there, which is nice for them to do. But it's Thilo's glider, but I don't think Thilo's flying it. I think it's Stefan Langer probably who's flying it.
German pilot.
Yeah, some people never miss an opportunity to go flying. Yeah.
So it is flyable. Why we don't make a task?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, how high is he? He's 1,700 meters locally. Well, it's easy for one pilot to fly when he's not having to complete a task. We're not trying to put 20 of them through the start line at the same time. Yeah. Finding somewhere where they can wait at the right height and expecting them all to come home. No, it's fun for him to fly. But it's evident from the fact that only one pilot is flying that the others are voting with their feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you asked me what's coming. We have this frontal system is going to take quite a long time to pass over us. And the forecast for a local area here is for very poor conditions for gliding. We probably will have rain most of tomorrow, and maybe into Wednesday also. And if we're lucky, it will start to clear on Wednesday, and then we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in which we can have good competition days.
If it clears on Wednesday, how much as a window you need to set up a task at the end for the Grand Prix?
Yeah, we need at least 3 hours.
Okay.
We need at
including
least
the takeoff?
Including the takeoff, yeah. We need at least 3 hours. We need 45 minutes to get everybody flying. Then we need 20 to 25 minutes to get everybody in a position to start. Then the shortest task we can fly really is maybe 1.25, 1.5 hours. So the minimum time is 3 hours. Ideally, we need 4 or 5 hours to get a task. But if the air mass is good and the weather clears well, we can fly into the evening, 7 o'clock, 7:30. It's not such a problem. When it's improving, it's when it's deteriorating, it's the problem.
And this is one advantage of flying also in a mountain area, because there is, as soon as the sun is coming, it's clearing up really, and the moisture is going down in the soil, and then you have some usable conditions.
That's right, and the mountainous conditions give you much bigger contrast of the amount of energy you get on the ground, which gives you bigger contrast in the heating for the air, so you will find hot spots. And in those hot spots, the thermals will continue much later and go higher. And of course, we're in the lee of some small mountains. And so there is a chance, just a chance, that they will protect us. And if you understand the way in which frontal systems work, we can hope that in a normal situation, when the frontal system moves to the southeast, we have a fresh air mass. We have an unstable air mass with which brings us cumulus, and we could get some good flying in that. So I see you're looking at what 3 Victor's doing. He's having fun out there. Nice to see the system's working really well. And I don't know what else has gone on this afternoon, Benj, but we have to now tidy everything up and get ready for the next couple of days.
Yeah, we just want to show you this image, because we are losing the signal perhaps. No? Okay, it's back. We just wanted to show you this image because it will be the area they will fly, and you saw that it's a nice, with some nice slopes. And on the next day, I think with Stefano back, we will talk about also the surroundings of this place, the airfield, because if you come here in this area, it's really, really nice. And we enjoyed a lot the opening ceremony from yesterday.
The club here in Pavullo are fantastic, and the area is really beautiful to fly over, but it's also quite special that the aerology, the way in which the air currents move in a low mountain area like this is different to what one would expect. And it's quite interesting. On the first day, on the practice day, we made a race which took a turning point to the south. And in the morning, Stefano said, okay, if we take this turning point in the south, it will be very difficult there. And the competitors will learn that this is a difficult area. Yeah. And for training, we did this, and he's right, it was difficult. But if you didn't know the area, you would never have known that, because it looks like everywhere else.
Yeah. Before coming here, I was expecting that these Apennines mountains were much more in the middle of Italy. So from each coast, east and west, quite the same distance. But we are really close to the west coast at the end. And then you have this Po Valley on the east, which is really, really different. So this makes a really, really mixed air mass coming together through these valleys together and to make some tiny convergence. And it's not well organized. It's really difficult to understand.
It is. And Italy is quite a narrow landmass. And so it is affected by the sea on both sides. And as you say, the Apennines bend round to the left. They bend round to the east to join more or less the Southern Alps towards the border with France.
Nice, yeah.
And then they go up on the coastal region. And that has an effect. When the air comes down, and this is the problem with timing, when the frontal system comes down, if you can imagine, it wraps itself around the Alps this way, it wraps itself around the Alps in the south side, and then it closes like a big claw around the south part of the Alps into Italy.
Okay.
And that's where we are. And so, like now, we had a westerly wind, 20 knots, we had to change, and now we have northerly wind again.
Okay, it's changing in a few minutes.
It's changing because as the front comes, the surface air is now coming from different directions. Yeah. Eventually, the front will come through, and then the wind will come to the northwest, and we get a homogeneous air mass. But it's a very complicated area. Okay, a really complicated meteorology here.
So we are looking forward for nice and interesting flights, and I think interesting reports from the pilots after the flights, because it will be like an adventure every day for them.
Yeah, I think for the pilots who don't know the region, there'll be some really interesting moments. Okay. There'll be some big surprises. Yeah. And for the pilots who know the region, they will, as always in gliding, they will anticipate it will be like this, and it isn't. Yeah? It's never absolutely predictable.
So you predict that some pilots will be more like followers of the others in this area?
I think so. I think it makes sense, doesn't it? If you've never flown here and you don't know it, and you're with somebody who knows his way in front of you, no, I'd stick with him. Okay. I'd stick with him and try to be higher than him at the end. Okay. But of course, it's not that easy. No. It isn't that easy to do it. It's a good theory, but doesn't always work in practice.
Okay, so we are looking forward for this. Every day, even if perhaps tomorrow there is no flight, we will make something. We will have something on YouTube. Perhaps we will make a live with some guests. So we are planning for that. And I'm really, really looking forward for this event, because I was expecting things like it will be complicated. It will be complicated.
It will be.
And the pilots, they know that it will be complicated, and the weather is coming to make a bit of chaos. But we hope that after 2 days we will have a nice post-frontal situation with nice conditions, fresher for us, because it's really heating up.
It's really hot, yeah.
And moist, so it will be completely different the next days coming. Yeah. So thank you, Brian.
It's a pleasure, Benj, and I hope to be here tomorrow to say we're flying, but I suspect we'll be talking about something else.
Okay.
But look, we're lucky. The last 3-4 Grand Prix finals, we've flown every day, and it's been easy. So now we have to learn how to cope with it.
We can talk together now.
Yeah,
that's good.
And now we have to learn to cope with this, and I feel disappointed for all of our followers and everybody who wanted to see the racing. but that's life, yeah?
It's part of our sport.
It's life. When the weather's like that, we can't do anything.
I was working with a few minutes ago with Angel Casado, which is the official scorer, and I told him we are used to make it a cancel culture in gliding. We have to cancel. That's part of our life, to cancel the day, and we have to accept this is part of a sport. Even if we make 1,000 kilometers with a trailer to come and to compete, we have to accept and to cool down and expect for next day, and the pilots we have to also accept that we are in charge. So the competition direction is on charge, and they make a menu, a daily menu, and we have to make the best of this daily menu.
And we do everything we can. Look, they even had to cancel Formula One race last year.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And the weather is always the boss.
At the end, yes.
We're the servant of the weather, and we just have to make the best we can from what weather we're given.
Thank you, Brian.
Pleasure, Benj.
See you tomorrow.
Good afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye, folks.
Have a good day, everybody, and follow us on the social media. Go to the website, official website. You can see that we will make a label every day for this official website. And I'm sorry there is no race today, but we will come back with more information and more interviews. And we know that you want to meet more of the pilots, because it's the most interesting point to meet these pilots. They are the best pilots around the world, and some of them, a lot of them, they are just discovering a new area. So it's also interesting to know how they approach and what is the philosophy they are doing. And we are interested, and we know that you are interested with this. So we see you tomorrow with some interesting content. And we hope that the weather will be better as expected, but it will be good. Bye-bye, ciao, and see you tomorrow.